John. Thank you guys once again for being our patrons, um, uh, supporting what we're trying to do out here. Um, I have, you can see, I have a special guest. Actually, I have two. This is Joe Henry the cat. This is my friend Brooke. Quickly, I'm going to give you guys I'm sure you've been following the situation with Nancy. Saw her last night. I go out there 5-6 times a week and spend a little time with her. She's doing all right. She's very tired and sleeping a lot, but she's not scared. She's not frantic. She's not telling me to get her the hell out of there. So I feel great about that. I'm kind of a mess. I don't sleep. I had 2 hours of sleep last night. Yeah, I'm having a hard time. Lots of tears because it's just weird. It's 30. We've been together 33 years. We'll be married 30 years in September, but we were together before that. So it's just a rough road for me. I'll get through it, but that's what's going on. We're getting the architect's plans July 1st for the buildings, and I have a friend Siobhan, who I think is one of the patrons, who's getting a fundraising plan together. So I think we'll probably be able to open this place again by December 1st, realistically, because there is a lot of work that has to get done, maybe before. In the meantime, we're going to be programming remotely in other places. We had a very successful concert. What was that? Like a month ago?
Is that over at Vic's?
Yeah, Vic's place a month ago, and we had a bunch of bands, and it was great. So that's what's going on. So, as part of our ongoing series, you guys met Donald Scott Baird a little while back. I think it's interesting for us to hear the voices of my friends and interesting people who are here. So I'm going to do a brief introduction. This is Brooke. This is Joe Henry. We met about 2 years ago. So about 2 years ago, we're doing shows, and this lovely young woman comes in, and she's just like, I want to support this place. And I think that first night we were charging like $5. Yeah. You gave me 60. Yeah. She gives me 3 20s, and I'm like, I'm taking it. And she's like, no, I want you to have it. And she's just been a really great supporter. And Brooke, so now you were actually born in Vincennes.
I think it was either. Yeah, it was at the Good Samaritan Hospital.
That's Vincennes, yeah. So Vincennes, Indiana, if you guys don't know, is a beautiful city. Not 35, 40 miles from here. But then you moved to Mount Carmel. Your family moved to Mount Carmel, and then you moved to Keensburg, which is even a smaller town than Mount Carmel.
It was back in 2007 when we did.
Okay, but now you have moved back to Mount Carmel. Okay, and what do you do? How do you pay rent? What do you do for a living?
I'm a cashier at a grocery store.
Cashier at Bueller's Buy Low, which is the only grocery store in town now. And until quite recently, she was working with her twin sister, Briley. And so I have a couple of things I wanted to ask you. First of all, we talked about this last night. There's so much mythology and I think romantic bullshit about twins. Everyone's like, oh, do you guys share brains? Do you have but how much of that is true in your experience?
Like sharing brains?
Well, share
I mean, we do have a lot of the same thought patterns, but it's not like we can literally read each other's minds.
Okay.
I mean, we do communicate a little differently. Like, if we can't hear each other, like, she'll understand if I, put, numbers up. Like, what time is it? 10:30.
Oh, wow. But you said last night you guys did invent a couple words.
When we were younger. 3.
Oh, really? And you had your own, because that's one of the things people say.
1 or 2 words.
Right, because people say they haven't. But I hear these stories all the time of, goodbye, Joe. Joe's leaving.
The door's closed.
The door's closed.
It's right.
Of like, you hear this where one twin, they're like 400 miles apart. One twin will get into a car accident or something, and the other twin will go, has anything like that ever happened?
I hope not.
I know. So anyway, Brooke's a twin. And one of the interesting things, Brooke's a fascinating person and a lovely person. But she's got I would call it not a difficulty, but it's a road you got to walk. And Brooke, you knew from when you were a child, I assume, baby. Brooke identifies as gay, and we're in a very conservative town. Very, very Christian, very Trumpy. And just talk about that. Has that been?
Well,
have you felt like not persecuted, but have you felt judged?
Well, I mean, not to my face. I never really was judged, but like, I'm sure people talk about it behind my back, which I'd rather have it happen. Leave me alone. I just want to watch. I want to stay home and watch anime. Like, seriously, like, what have I done?
Right.
But no, I never really was like persecuted for it because, I don't know. I guess I just never faced a lot of hardships with it.
Good.
I mean, the only hardship I ever faced was like just trying to figure out how to come out to the people. I guess.
Right.
They didn't really say much. I mean, they were like, "Oogie."
Yeah, that was you like when you came out to your twin, she was like,
For some reason, it was the hardest, and she's not even homophobic.
Right.
She's had my back. You know, when my parents' views have changed a little bit, she's like, if they give you any crap, swear to God.
Right.
So yeah, she's had my back. I mean, I'm not saying that mom and dad haven't, because they've been good to me, like, very good to me.
Cool.
But I don't know. I've never really faced any actual hardships, unlike other people. And
that's great. That's really encouraging. You know, I would think that,
especially in a conservative town, because it's
precisely.
like, so they're like, "Oogie, don't agree with it, but I'm not going to talk about it." It's like, okay, good. So
yeah.
Don't.
Yeah, but you know, I don't know if you'd agree with this. What I've found is it's really easy to prejudge small town, white, Christian, conservative people. From my experience, because I lived in cities for so long, it's really easy to assume that they're going to be prejudiced and homophobic and racist, etc.
Honestly, I still have that judgment in the back of my mind. Because I've seen other people like go through way worse.
Sure. But to your point, I've found that by and large, more and more, people do say, "All right, I don't agree with it, but
it's kind of like
it's your life."
It's like they're starting to see, like, "Oh yeah, this doesn't really affect me." Yeah. On to something else.
Finally. And they don't. And you know, I hate that when people say, "I don't agree with it," but
it's like, I didn't ask for your opinion.
Yes, but they're not saying you're going to hell, young woman. You know, and they're not doing that.
I've had one person be like, "Are you sure you're turning your back on God?" And I'd be like, "Why would I be turning my back on God if He's everywhere?"
Well said. And you're also you identify as a Christian, and you know you're a regular churchgoer, and you know.
Well, I mean, when I have time.
When you have time. Yeah, but you were raised in a straight up Christian family, and again, I think people are. I've found that good.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say I didn't really want to be like the organization. I just wanted to be like Christ.
Right.
That's all there is
well,
to
yeah,
me.
that's what we said. We were talking last night, and we agreed that we like Christ. It's the people who follow Him that we have a little. Some of them are like, "Did you read the book? Did you listen to what the man said?"
Honestly, I don't say much because at the same time, I'm like, who am I to judge another person's relationship with God? It's like, you have every right to critique it.
Sure.
It's just a conflict I go through sometimes because it's like, does He want me to do this or not?
Right.
I don't know, because if I'm going to be complicit about it, I don't know if it's the right thing to do.
Right. And I don't think you ever know. I mean,
I just don't want to come off as a. Can I cuss?
Yeah.
Asshole.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, you can go.
I'm gonna say the F word, guys. Frick.
Frickin' frick. Yeah, fricker. So cool. And what would you say? Two questions. what's the best thing about Mount Carmel and living here? What's the best thing about it? I didn't, don't think about it too much. What's your favorite thing about being here?
I like how progressive it's gotten.
How progressive
over
it's
the
gotten.
years.
Yes, I see that.
I see a lot more people that be coming together.
Mhm.
We're having a lot more shows and stuff.
Mhm.
Vic's Bread and Brew opened us.
The Vic's
nice.
Bread and Brew is a new bar, restaurant, space, whatever, that just opened just up the street. And Vic's great. Yeah, Vic is actually Vikram, Indian guy, and he's just a dynamo. Man, that guy works. And what's the worst part? Would you say? What's your least favorite part of living in a little Southern Illinois town?
Probably the lack of variety in people, but maybe that's just me looking through like a strict lens. I might be wrong about this.
No, I think you're right.
There's just not a lot of people like me in my age group. You're going to be surprised by this. I'm 21.
Right? So it looks like 14, right?
21.
Looks like 15 years old.
But like, I don't know. I just don't see a lot of people like me around here.
Right.
It's like, it'd be cool if it got bigger.
Or just more diverse. I mean,
oh yeah.
30 years in New York City. Nancy's in this nursing home, basically, right? And all the nurses, everybody's a bunch of old white people. Hey, Miss Nancy, how you doing? They talked a little too loud. And Nancy and I have been in a lot of hospitals, unfortunately. I said to Nan the other night, what I would give for a Dominican woman to come in and say, "Hey, Papi, how you doing there, Baba?" And just like burn through, be quick, be funny.
I would be complete if somebody did that. I mean, I would obviously be scared because anybody that approaches me, I'm like, "You're gonna hurt me."
No. Well, actually, that's a good segue. The other thing that, and if you're uncomfortable talking about it, cool.
Okay.
But both Brooke and her twin Riley, at a young age, were diagnosed on the autism spectrum.
PDD.
PDD, which is what?
Pervasive developmental disorder, but they changed it.
Pervasive development disorder.
Yeah, but they changed it like at some point to like just autism spectrum disorder.
Somewhere on the spectrum.
And then my sister had an additional Asperger's.
Right. So Riley, is Asperger, and that's got to be tough. That's just got to be tough.
I mean, we have the milder side of the traits. I mean, I guess some people could tell if they were like around autistic people all the time. Other people wouldn't be able to tell.
Right.
We've been able to mask it socially for the longest time.
But do you feel like you're wearing a mask? You really feel like? Because that's a very particular word. You're like, I can't be who I actually am.
Well,
in public.
For me, I mean, I'm sure it is for other people, but for me, it's just kind of a subconscious thing. I kind of just match people's energy for the most part.
Well, I think we all do that.
Yeah.
On a certain level, most of us do that.
I don't know. I mean, I never really needed special ed. I mean, I did fine in school and all that stuff, although I hated it.
Me too, man.
But
me too. Oh, I couldn't stand school. Oh.
I think the thing that stands out the most actually is, just social cues. And for me, it's sensitivity to sound. Mm-hmm. Same with Riley, but the biggest thing that stood out to me was textures.
Yeah, you said that last night. What's that about? If you can't see, but Brooke is wearing a bathrobe, and like she walks around in the bathroom because it's soft.
I do it all the time.
Right, but you're so much happier wearing something soft, right?
Honestly.
Wow, man. I just think I'm not being patronizing, but I feel like when people with autism survive, and you have a job, you have your own apartment, you have friends. I saw the other night you're driving around with a bunch of people. That's heroic, man. Because your world is much more hostile and threatening than my world. I can just walk around. I'm fine. But for you to not be in a dark room, staring at a screen, all day and all night, I think it's very brave. Really, really brave. So well done.
Thank you.
Kid.
Thank you.
She's pretending to be my niece. We went out. We saw a bunch of people the other night, and that you didn't know, and you were like, "I'm your niece." Tell them I'm your niece.
Well, yeah, because I don't know. Like I just Bradley and I always ended up calling you Uncle John.
I'm Uncle
like,
John.
Uncle John.
Uncle John.
John.
I'm Uncle John. All right, so this is Brooke, and give a quick plug. You're doing something with a bunch of great people. Great thing, June 26th, correct? And what is that?
It's a Pride event.
Pride event.
Over at Merchants Park.
Which is a big outdoor, what do you call it? Well, outdoor stage, right smack in the center of town. And again, courage. Who's doing it with you?
So
Kyle.
yeah, Kyle. This guy named Michael. Aaron. Somebody named Ashley. I'm not sure. There's a lot of like people organizing
Cool.
it.
And what's it going to be? What's going to happen?
It's gonna be like a festival, just to kind of celebrate, the LGBT and its liberation.
Right on.
And like there's gonna be open mic.
Cool.
It's gonna be. I had to think about it.
There's a tie dye.
Mm-hmm. There's gonna be a tie dye station. They're gonna have like merch there. I think the health department's gonna have a safe sexting there.
Oh, cool. And like food trucks and that kind of stuff?
I think so.
Very cool.
There's gonna be an after party too.
Oh, cool. Where at?
Vic's.
Right on. Vic's Bread and Brew. And we're doing Vic's should sponsor this. We kept talking about it. I should get Vic to like give me $30, right?
I think we've talked to him about it actually.
Come down to Vic's Bread and Brew. Tell them John and Brooke sent you.
I would die for their chai lattes.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. All right, so folks, if you're none of you guys, I don't think are anywhere near town, but if you're coming through town, June 26th, 2:00, right?
Yes.
2 p.m. Merchants Park Pride event, Mount Carmel Pride event, and that's right there is what you said, an indication of how things are changing.
It's going to be the first Pride Festival.
The first Pride Festival, and I'm telling you, man, 10 years ago in this town, if you had said, we're having a Pride Festival, they would say, no, you're not. Things are changing. Things are really changing. All right, folks, thanks for listening. Thank you for being patrons. It really means a lot. If you enjoy this stuff, tell 9 of your friends and force them to become patrons as well so we can make more money. All right, say goodbye, Brooke.
Bye.
Okay, bye, folks.
Bye.
Ending stream. End.
No.